How's it going, guys? Darby here with Jenny University and our co-host Kelly Tenny into this episode of the MarketSauce Method Workshop, where we are going to be taking problems that we are experiencing right now in our business and in real time using AI to help us with solving those problems, take our ideas, turn those ideas into action, and that action into impact. Kelly, excited for today's call because I know right before we got on, you said you've got a problem you're looking to solve that we're going to dig into. Can you share a little bit more about what we're going to be covering today?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited because I actually think my intention for where we're going to go today is going to be really relatable and applicable to what a lot of people go through as they think about possible new offers, services, and things like that. I have a 90-day program. I think a lot of our communities probably heard about it. It's called the Blueprint. And over the course of 90 days, we learn how to educate, market, and sell to our community using the foundation of micro courses. And we just went through the first iteration. It was amazing. We had pop up experts, all of the things. We integrated AI. But I really want to explore what it would look like to turn this 90-day container into something more that's more of like an ongoing membership where people aren't exactly cut off after the 90 days, but people can just go back into the cycle and revisit the education, the marketing, and selling as they grow as an entrepreneur, as their business grows, and things like that. It also potentially is going to solve one of the biggest problems that I know a lot of people run into. And Darby, this may be one that's familiar to you as well, is they enter a program that's X amount of days, but they aren't exactly completely finished by the end of that program. And so there's sometimes like things that are just outlying. Maybe they haven't completely finished all their videos. Maybe they wanted to create a bonus, but they haven't really thought that through. And so I really want to have more of that ongoing support. So, my question that I brought to you, and literally the real time question is, how can I leverage AI to explore what this concept might look like? I have no marketing for it. It's literally just a thought in my head. The foundation would be something that's morphed from something that already exists, but the details and the logistics aren't there yet. And I would love to come up with some kind of pre nurture sequence, if you will, to get this concept out to my email list to see if anybody would even be interested in that type of program. So, those are the two problems that I have floating around. Again, I think it's a very common problem. We have a lot of people that are like, what if I did this kind of offer or service? How would I even know if people wanted to buy? And that's what I would love your help with today, and to figure out how we could use things like the market sauce to really solidify what that concept would look like and potentially even come up with some ways to do some market research and see if that is something that people are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I think that we can jump right into just for the sake of time. We've got about an hour for this call blocked off for us. And so based on what you told me, we need to figure out two things. One is like, where does AI fit into helping you with this idea and expanding on it and getting clear on where your current program is right now? How can we maybe reposition that to a membership-based ongoing support way that you can add more continuity into the customers and clients you're working with? That are looking to continue their education and implementation as part of your program. And the second part is seeing if this idea is even interesting to people that are on your list, whether it's someone that's already taken your program, which is going to be one segment of your list, to those that are maybe not customers or clients of that particular program, but they're on your newsletter or they've went through other courses from you, or something along those lines.
Mm.
So if we can identify those two things first, so an example, I think, of the end result being a very quick way to test and start getting feedback on something that's clear, concise, and determining if it's going to if it's going to be worth your time to invest into building this product out based on the initial feedback. So like a minimum viable product out there, but even just getting that response from your list to know if this conversation makes sense, or what are you maybe not considering that people are looking for that you can use to refine and improve the offer and make it something that's that much more valuable. So does that sound like a good outcome for this call? At least the email copy and a roadmap to how you're going to send that up to your list with details about the offer that we're going to refine.
Yes, and I love that addition that you just brought up with what if it's not only market research of yes or no, I want this, but how could we position it to also include if this is not what you want, what might something else look like in their mind? So I love that additional piece of information that I potentially could get from developing out some kind of market research.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in, Kelly. You have a program already, you've said. So we're not starting from scratch. We're starting with an existing asset that you've already got, and we're going to effectively co-create another variation of this asset with you, me, and AI. And to do that, I'm going to need some information from you. Can you send me a link in the chat to where I can find more information about this? Because we're going to use the content that you've already got created as a starting point so that we're not just starting from ground zero.
Yes, let me.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our free MarketSauce Mentalist GPT, which you, if you're watching this, you may already have access to, but you will need access to a ChatGPT account. And if you go to marketsauce.ai/mentalist, you will be directed to the next step for how you can access the link to get this custom GPT that we've built. This GPT does include a copy, not include a copy. This GPT is trained on the contents of the copy of our buyer's brief book. And so it's got the entire MarketSauce 9,000 recipe inside of it, which is the framework that we are using to use as a baseline for starting the MarketSauce method, from creating blueprints to identifying how we can position ourselves in front of that market through a creative brief. Kelly, can you go ahead and share that link with me, or any resources that you've got, so I can start to? And once I've got that, I will go ahead and share my screen and we will start our approach on this process.
All right. So in the chat, I'm going to share with you the initial sales page, if you will, that describes the current blueprint program, which is that 90-day container.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen right now.
Okay.
I'm going to share a screen to the page that you just shared. We've got, confirming you can see my page, Kelly?
Yes, I can.
All right, so we've got unlock the hidden blueprint for infinite revenue and transformational impact, discover the EMS success system, the secret trifecta of education, marketing, and sales mastery that will propel your business to new heights. Ready to jump in? And there's more information about this program here, a bit about you. And so this is, I guess it's a 90-day program that you work people through. And then the thing is, at the end of the 90 days, there's no ongoing continuity for something like this.
Correct.
First. Okay. I'm thinking for this, I want to start with the mentalist to just get really clear on like how this content is being analyzed and who it's being positioned for, so we can make sure that that we're aligned on who the ideal target audience is for this right out the gate, or if there's any repositioning we're going to need to do before we move on to the next step. But all I'm going to do is just copy the content from this page, and I'm going to open in my Mentalist GPT, and using the starting point here of just saying context equals, what I'm doing is I'm letting the AI know that, hey, this is the context that I want you to be referencing whenever I say context, just to give it a little bit of a map to what I'm going to be talking about. And so now it's going to take the Mentalist GPT and start to organize and format some of the research based on the context that I'm providing it. So using this as one focus point, as well as all the other information that ChatGPT is trained on, and our frameworks for the MarketSauce method. And so in a nutshell, the EMS success system is a framework to help business owners attract their ideal customers, convert leads to loyal customers, and fill gaps in the customer journey on that front. From your perspective, Kelly, and for anyone that's watching this process, this is a really critical moment to make sure that you are vetting and validating that this information is true from the perspective of you as the expert in this case. And so if anything comes up that's not true, Kelly, and it seems going off track or just in a different direction than you'd like it to go, make sure that you address that as we're reading through this. But if not, then that means that we're on a good track with how we're going to be building out this workflow. Does everything look good so far?
Everything looks great. And what I would love to make sure that it's referring to is the component there where it says attract their ideal customers through effective marketing strategies.
Hmm.
The answer is yes. And as someone who brands herself as a course creator, the distinction that I want the mentalist to understand would be that we're using education to market. So that's the determining factor is this isn't necessarily like a how to market yourself. It is how do we use education like micro courses to do the marketing for you.
To do the marketing for you. And so just the way that you responded back to me for what you would want to see this change is how I would approach it responding back to ChatGPT, because again, AI is very conversational. It is
Mhm.
like having a coffee with an assistant that's sitting across the table. This is what I've got. Okay, that's great, but I actually want you to like think of it like this or X, Y, or Z, and you're giving it more constraints and more guidelines to focus on. And so I'm just going to put the ball back in the court to let ChatGPT know that this is the angle I want you to go at, and it'll once I give it this information, it'll usually refeed me the context, and so it's going to make it clear. So using as a primary vehicle for marketing, now it's making a key distinction here, and so attraction through education, nurturing through learning, conversion via education. And so it focused in a lot more on the micro courses as lead magnets and really leaning into this mode. And this already seems a little bit more robust and a little bit more refined to the direction that we want to go. Would you say that's correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is definitely more spot on.
And so now we see here the psychosocial elements: trust, reciprocity, providing value, empowerment, tools to succeed, why bite-sized micro courses in marketing work, right? So it's bite-sized. So these are all bullet points that we can use when refining or repositioning the offer. And so I like that even just giving it that additional like guidelines, we come back down to what's the primary goal. And anytime you're going to create any sort of campaign, any sort of marketing plan, thinking from the perspective of my customers or my clients, what is their goal in mind? And how are we going to help them as the guides in the situation and them the hero achieve that goal? And with anyone that has a goal, they're going to have problems that they're going to be experiencing. And so that's where I want to take this a little bit further now that we want to address that. Is this the right goal that we're helping people with? Confirming that, and then constructing the next prompt to help us with expanding on the next step for figuring out how can we maybe reposition this into something more continuity based.
Okay. So the primary goal is it's a yes and yes, that is part of the primary goal. But in addition to what it's referring to, the rest of the goal is that they not only have the micro course that doubles as a marketing funnel, they also understand how the rest of the EMS system, which is marketing that actual course and being able to sell their offers is also part of the outcome.
Okay. So this being a checkpoint, I want to provide that feedback back. And I'm going to say use this context to refine the primary goal in relation to the context provided above. So now, because I said use this rewrite the primary goal, sometimes you'll see these AIs just rewrite everything that we've created already. Sometimes you'll see them just focus in on that one part. Really, it's just going to depend probably on the time or day and a number of other factors with any of these tools. And so at least it gave us the refined primary goal. But now
That's
we
so
know,
good.
and so we're
So good.
reassessing this. So
Yeah.
the primary goal. So you've been reading it while I was talking, so I'm just
Yeah.
skimming through. Is there anything that stands out that is really on point from what you're seeing? Anything that
Yeah.
we want to refine a little bit more?
The key elements, right? Remember, like the whole concept behind this offer is that EMS system, right? The educate, market, and sell. So I feel like the key elements completely reflect the entirety of the EMS system, talking about course creation, marketing mastery, and then it pulled in the sales proficiency. So it automatically just shifted to recognize that this is a whole system that's going all the way around and move from that focus on education, which is what it was showing us before, which, like I said, like you and I both know that education is the key component, right? But the purpose is to differentiate this program with, it's not just a one-off, create your online course and then figure out what to do with it type of program. It's a create your educational component, and as part of the program, the marketing and the sales component is also going to be part of that. So I feel like it really picked up on that entire system and moved away from the focus on education.
That's great. So I think now that we've got it with the right perspective and at least going the right direction for a more comprehensive view of the whole system, I want to ask another question, go a little bit deeper here within the context of what we're looking for. Our goal is to take this program that you've got and how do we reposition this in a way that it could be continuity based right out the gate from what we're already offering. My question to you, Kelly, is right now it's a $100,000-$500,000 program. I'm not sure the price point of it right now. Is that something that you are wanting to continue to sell as a one-off tool and then add on continuity after people leave the 90 days? Or is your idea here to scrap a 90-day one-time thing and just go straight continuity from the beginning at maybe a lower price point or maybe a higher price point? Can you talk a little bit more about what you have in mind that we want to be experimenting with?
Yeah, so I'm still playing around with the price point. However, the current 90-day program was sold at the $997 price point with an early bird offer of $497, since it was the first time that I had offered this program. The results were fantastic. I had over 20 people that came in and actually went through the program. And I'll just give you some background. The insight behind this concept of turning it into something that that's more continuous is, like I shared earlier, there's just a lot of people that still have a few things hanging out there that need to be completed. And so just within my own like business ethics, I've always felt like from the course creation side, I don't want to give people this amazing course that they then don't know actually how to go out there and share and sell it. So I would love it to be a continuous container. As Darby, once you recognize like the power of the micro course, you've since then created many micro courses, which I believe once people see the system, it's something they're going to want to continue to implement. And so I do want to have it on a continuous basis. I am going back and forth with the price point, and perhaps that's something that AI can help us with as part of the the market research is, do I keep this at a $497 container where they come in for 3 months and every 3 months it renews at $497? Do we do it something that's, because it's more of this membership component, do we drop the price to be more in alignment with maybe I would love it to be like a no-brainer. My business coach suggested something like they come in and they complete their first 90 days of membership at a certain price. And then as an alumni, they can come in maybe for the rest of the year, like 6 more months, 9 more months at an extremely low price. So all of those ideas around pricing have been tossed around out there. And honestly, I haven't settled on which one might be the best fit.
And I think that's something that maybe we can even ask inside of the follow-up emails to this, right? And like getting some feedback about, hey, I'm thinking about this, offering it at this price point. What are your thoughts on that? We can explore some ways and language to put that out there. And so with this right now and our primary goal, I'm going to take what you just told me and talk it back to ChatGPT and give it some instruction for where I think it would be useful to go as a next step here to get closer to the point where we even want to write an email about it so we can get really clear on what are the specific deliverables, what are we thinking, and some more context, because like you said, it was your initial program that was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
20 people you said that went through
Mm-hmm.
and seeing success and results from it. And now what's next for those people and also people that are going to be coming into this program for the next bit. So I'm going to use a voice dictation tool that I use on a Chrome extension. Most people should have some form of voice dictation on your computer, laptop, PC, whatever, which I find is a very effective way to just prompt the AI, just talk to it, give it the instructions based on the refined primary goal and the key elements of the program that we are providing as the deliverable. There's additional context that I want to give you, and that we just finished our first flagship cohort of this program. For the first 90 days, we had 20 people enroll. The results were great. Now the problem is people are wanting to complete things that they weren't able to totally get to inside of the first 90 days and have additional goals and want to continue to market and execute the sales activities to build scalable, sustainable revenue in their business as that relates to the primary goal. And so, with that context in mind, I want to consider how I can reposition this as just a simple 90-day cohort with no additional ongoing support provided for it, but also have the ongoing support incorporated into the offer the next time we roll it out, so that people can enroll to the initial cohort and then have ongoing membership and support as alumni for the program to continue to get value and grow with Kelley. So I want to feed it some more of this context so that it understands where we're coming from here. And as we can see here, it's giving me a repositioning strategy based on that prompt. So I see like a phase 1, 90-day cohort, primary focus. Participants master the EMS system, creating and marketing their micro courses, learning strategies to sell their offers and build sustainable revenue. The program is designed to deliver fast results, right? So we've already covered this. So that's the how phase 1 of a program could look at. But if we're going in beyond to phase 2, you have a current ongoing alumni group that you could reach out to now with this, which I think is one. Hey, I'm thinking about offering an ongoing group. Would you be interested in joining at X amount per 90 days or X amount a year? I think that's could be a very simple email to reaching out to those folks versus the people that are just starting, which would be going towards phase 1. There's some future pacing that we can do here as well. This is what's happening now, but this is actually part of a full year-long program that we're doing, or some other way. Is anything sticking out to you here that we're seeing that resonates, that maybe is not as clear as it could be? Ongoing membership needs for those who don't complete, monthly coaching calls, workshops, accountability groups, 24/7 community and new resources, like a solid feature stack for what could that look like inside of that ongoing approach. And then here's giving some why this approach works. And again, this is for us to choose and assess and determine if we want to go further down here, or we want to refine it. But I'm curious how this is landing for you, Kelley, after you've been reading this.
I liked the key features of the alumni membership. I believe that those key features would apply to anybody, whether they're alumni or someone who's just coming in. I'm not sure that first 90-day cohort component at the top. Like for that primary focus, I would love to be able to deliver that just in general, like not just in the first 90 days, right? So I don't know that I see how it's segmenting it. And I'm wondering if it's just, hey, pop in, just commit, but it's not positioned as your first 90 days, you're going to learn something. And then it's just this ongoing, like, I really want to position it as it's a there's continual benefits versus, oh, you're really going to learn a lot in the 90 days. And then after that, you get support, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like there's equal value and opportunity, whether they are in their first 90 days or their fifth set of 90 days.
because I think maybe some emphasis on this is like learning a system that you can replicate and do again and again. And so you've already done the first 90-day cohort. A lot of that can just be self-paced at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And people can learn on their own pace. They can show up for coaching calls to get support and that sort of thing that's built into it. And maybe like the additional levels of support, workshops, community access, maybe there's some other things that you would consider adding in here if it would be useful for people. And those are questions that you can ask as well.
Yeah.
So I think with this, what we might want to do is say, okay, what if we combine both of these and started with a membership focus first, with that they get access to this whole library of resources that they can access on demand. The real value is in the accountability and the ongoing support to helping them with implementing this over the course of an entire year's membership that's involved with it. And that could be a higher price for a full year membership. We could figure out what the price is going to make sense. And again, depending on your audience and where things land there, I think the next step before we focus on price is what are people going to actually get as a result of going through here, and what are the features that are going to bend? How are these supporting them in achieving their primary goal?
I like those key features, and I would like to promise. Okay, I like the key features of the alumni membership, and I would like to be able to promise that as part of membership, they can also walk away with what was promised in the cohort, which is as part of their membership, they will be able to develop a micro course. They will be able to come up with a clear marketing plan for that course. And they'll be able to access various sales strategies that can convert their course into a higher ticket offer.
All right. So I'm going to do a little bit more based on that content provided. We want to focus on the outcome result driven with the deliverables that we're providing inside of that initial 90-day cohort, because this will be available on demand, and then extra emphasis on all of the key features that will support the cohorts going forward to get those benefits to support their primary goal. So now it's saying it's great to incorporate this emphasis. We're going to promise the ongoing membership not only supports it, achieve the core results. So now we're updating the membership positioning, EMS system, beyond traditional support, complete their micro course, refine them and scale their marketing, convert their course into a high ticket offer, execute proven sales strategies, key features, complete access to on-demand EMS system. Maybe we don't say lifetime. Maybe the members have access to, right? Like just it's part of your membership. You lose access if you're not a member. Monthly coaching calls, workshops to expand revenue, accountability groups, private alumni community, new resources, results promised. So we'll change the lifetime access to members will just have access to that on demand, I think is a better than lifetime for while they have membership. But I mean, other than that, how did this look from your lens?
That looks a lot better. Access to on demand, which I didn't think about doing on demand, but from the perspective of on demand trainings for the EMS system, that actually is a great addition that I wasn't considering doing. Complete their micro course, refine and scale their marketing, convert their course. Yeah, I like that. It's more comprehensive and it gives it more of a holistic feel versus that like first 90 days and then what happens after. I feel like it combined everything to be able to position that as just what you get as being a member and removing that time constraint.
Yeah. So I'm going to do one more thing now before we start to tighten this up. The last output looks great and aligned with the focus on how we want to be positioned. Now I want you to do two things. One is when you continue, we're not offering lifetime access, we're offering on-demand access. So people can access through their private members portal with an active membership. And then for the pricing model, given that the pricing was introduced at a $9.97 price point with a price point of $4.97 for the early birds who joined, how can we take this model and then reposition the model in such a way that is going to facilitate the membership model that we're going for. So the ongoing support is naturally baked into it throughout the course of a year with monthly, quarterly, and annual payment options, which at the end of the day, of course, is up to you, Kelly, if you even want to offer monthly or quarterly. Some people only offer annual for their content now. Some people only offer monthly. Again, it's just figuring out how you want to roll this out.
Sure.
Yeah, on demand, updated messaging, membership grants memberships on demand access to all cohorts of materials and private members portal, available on demand, active system curriculum. So let's see what it goes with the pricing model, standard enrollment. So it's saying initial enrollment option, it still starts with the 90-day cohort, priced similarly with ongoing support being a key differentiator. One-time payment with 3 months of access to membership. So you pay once, you get 3 months access. And then if you want to continue, like there, transitioning to the membership model, complete the 90-day cohort and option to continue their membership. So now then it goes down to $997 a month, $267 a quarter, $997 a year. So you see the discounts that are applied. And I like how this is good for those who have this type of goal, right? Because not everyone's looking for a full year membership right out the gate. Maybe they want to jump in for a quarter, and then that's the time that they have to learn and focus on it. So something to consider. Benefit recaps, on-demand access, monthly coaching calls, workshops, accountability, 24/7 access to the community, and new tools and templates for business growth. So writing out some messaging for this as well, why this pricing works. Is people clear outcome driven. So this is coming back to that same model that you were mentioning, like with your mentor, having a price they can join and then having the ability to continue going on. Final pricing breakdown at a snapshot. So cohort-based, outcome-driven, transitioning into an ongoing membership after the 90 days. I think we could reposition this and just remove the cohort side of it and then have people go completely self-paced right out the gate. Membership is simply $97 a month to start out. You get immediate access to all of this. Maybe you offer some benefits for people that joined for a full year as part of working with you, or get an hour of your time, or they get a custom buyer's brief, or they get something that we could add in that would give them immediate value that's helping them achieve those goals, but is a clear value and a distinction from just joining monthly to encourage people that are going to go all in for the year. Would you prefer to test straight up membership out the gate, or do you like the kind of cohort based at the beginning and then moving those on?
Now, is that something that we can ask AI for its insight? Can AI give us the pros and cons of the two different types of pricing breakdowns it provided?
Absolutely. And I think this is where a good give you reasoning behind these cohorts and relate that to our ideal target audience based on the context that we're creating here. Based on your understanding of pricing and market research and the final pricing breakdown that we've provided you here in this thread, can you now assess the context and the new positioning of how we're going to be placing this membership with a chain of thought style reasoning for the different pros and cons to each of these pricing models? And with that in mind, I want to also see how these pros and cons relate to the top ideal target audiences that this program is designed for, so that we can understand which model works best for which target audience and why it works best for that target audience, with your reasoning provided after each to continue to improve your output based on your analysis as we continue the approach. So we got it thinking in that, like, that chain of thought type of approach to justify or give its reasoning behind that. If it does, it gives its reasoning. We've been just seeing more and more folks getting better results from AI as it gives you reasons why it came up with this. It starts to improve the quality of its results and is self-training itself throughout the output, which is why I use that in this case to see So its reasoning here is that the quarterly basis for business owners to understand the value of milestone-based growth and are comfortable with longer-term investments. So someone working maybe off the EOS system, quarterly rocks, right? I needed to hit this quarter. If this 90-day cohort fits within that, maybe that makes sense. Pros, best for committed members, high buy-in, high engagement, lower churn. It's a big one, right? In any membership, you're going to have to deal with churn, and an annual is a great way to reduce the churn in a lot of cases.
You know what I love about this is if you go back to the monthly membership, the cons, like the less long-term buy-in where it says they may not be as committed to long-term growth and development. And the pro up there, that first one, unsure about committing to a longer-term plan.
Mm-hmm.
What this has made me realize is when it comes to like the EMS system and actually creating a course, the people that would want the monthly membership are probably actually not my ideal clients, because as it takes more than a month to create a course, put it out there and actually sell something from it to convert those leads.
Yeah.
And so while this makes complete sense to me, it also makes it very clear to me that anybody who would say, I don't know if I would want to commit to creating a course, marketing and selling it longer than 30 days, like automatically to me, just wouldn't be an ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
So this insight has given me just more clarity around not just what my pricing would be, but also recognizing I probably wouldn't want to attract the person that wouldn't want to do at least a quarterly commitment, because that's how long I know it takes to actually go through and develop a course and to be able to get it out there.
Oh, that's great. And something that we could consider is, do we want to just remove the monthly as an option at all and only stick with quarterly?
Yes.
Do you want to do quarterly and annually? Like,
Yeah.
is there benefit to doing that? Or do you want to just do annually with the ongoing support? And effectively, one way that I've seen a physical, a storefront here in Austin that was offering a membership base for health, like not supplements necessarily. It's like biohacking type of machinery. They offered a membership, but one thing they did that I was like, that's smart, is they said, oh, it includes one partner or spouse or somebody like that automatically with your membership. So that if they want to come and go through the content or whatever it is, go through the resources, they can just use your membership. And so you get that benefit there. And maybe that's something you would consider if someone is coming through here, is having a team member come through this. Is that going to be more effective for you or not? But I think just to throw something out there that I've seen, and having that support, and maybe do people that you see coming through your course, do they have a VA that they would love to have going through the content to help them with doing it too? Because they're already busy enough as it is running a business. Just maybe some food for thought, Kelly.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that obviously a lot of people have VAs that will help them build out the course, that might be helping them with the video editing, that might be helping them with the graphics for the course, or they might actually be doing the marketing, the social media marketing posts and so forth. So I definitely think saying you get one free seat for a team member or something like that could be an added value. I also think quarterly and annually, I would be willing to do both. So I like those two different pricing structures. Perhaps maybe at the annual is where they get that free seat, just as that longer term commitment. But I do like that idea of one extra person getting access.
Okay. So let's take it to the next step from here. We've got our pricing models. We know we want to go membership first. We know we need people to commit to at least 90 days right out the gate. And there's ways that we can differentiate quarterly versus annual. And so now I'm going to start to try and bring this all together with what we can do. Okay, great. Now we're going to continue on to refining this offer as we would want to be presenting it to our ideal target audience. We're going to be removing the monthly plan. So that will no longer be an option for what we're going to be putting together. What we want to do is focus in on the quarterly and the annual options, because these are more aligned with our ideal target audience, as well as as it relates to what the course and the membership program does deliver to our members. The key distinction here for annual members is they get one additional seat for a member of their team or a partner who will be going through and helping them with executing and implementing the contents of this program, as a special added bonus for those who commit for the full year. With that in mind, I want you to review what you have created in terms of the outputs and rewrite the membership benefits, the membership value that they get, and the membership positioning as it relates to the quarterly and the annual members, as well as clearly articulating who these membership levels are for in terms of our ideal target audience, backed by the key features and the deliverables that you can use to get those results, and write that all out in one form that will be used to build off of our emails and engagement sequences to gauge interest in this refined program and its positioning. Course creation, business growth, high ticket offer by joining on demand. This is for so entrepreneurs, course creators, mid-level entrepreneurs, and business owners, action-oriented business leaders, on-demand access, ongoing expert coaching. This is something when you're working with AI and getting in these threads, I could have gone up through and copied and pasted all of these before, but I'm telling it to go through and grab that information from the thread and just rewriting it because it can do that. And I'm making sure that it's going out and providing that context. But again, here's all the key features on demand, all the tools, membership options, who this is for, annual membership value and deliverables, special bonus, final positioning, and some call to actions. So from here, I think we can also use this as the context and, hey, write a few different engagement emails that I can send to different people that can open up interest and get some survey response if they'd be interested in this type of program or learning more. So I think this would be something along the lines of being sent to your first cohort, people that have already gone through, but then also ones that are saying, hey, like I didn't go through this at all. And so like the messaging there is going to be different. So I'll take we got about 5 minutes left here, Kelly. I want to get us to that end result of what we're looking for. Here's what's the messaging that you're going to be able to use now. It's going to be able to speak to the different segments of your audience and getting that draft out there so that you can take it, you can do some refining on it, and then you could upload it into your email autoresponder and you can send out some campaigns to open up that conversation and maybe even set up a survey with it. So I'm going to go to that step now. Thank you so much. Now that we have this context out there, I want you to understand that there are some very clear segments of our audience we're going to be reaching out to gauge interest and invite to join this ongoing membership program for the additional support. One being the people who have gone through the initial 90-day cohort and inviting them to join us in continuity at the quarterly or annual level for membership and lay out what exactly they would get, who this is for, and invite them to respond back if they're interested or if they have any questions or questions about what would be included in their membership. And then we would take it from there. The additional segment beyond that are segments of our audience that have not gone through this cohort and need to understand that this is even a membership available to them. For those, we want to let them know that our first 20 people went through, the results were great. And based on what we saw, we realized that we were going to be opening up an additional ongoing support into the program because that's just what we're seeing that is adding more value. And the people that are getting the most out of this are those that continue on and keep working with us to execute on the different stages and the different things that they are learning and putting into practice. For that segment, we want to pose an email that is effectively sharing the results from the first cohort, what we're doing next, what's included, how it's different, what it means for them, and who it's for, and inviting them to respond back to give us their interest in joining this program, or also if they have any questions or otherwise about the program. We want to write at least 2 different outreach emails for each that we can use to send and gauge interest to see if this program makes sense to continue with. Make sure each one of the emails is a very clear, concise, and simple breakdown of the new way that this program is going to be positioned based on what you've already written above. So now it's going to identify those 2 different segments Subject line, continue your growth with EMS membership. Ready for the next step. Join EMS successful membership for ongoing support. Congratulations on completing. You've seen incredible results. By joining, you'll get the things that it's going to help you. Here's what's included. We're offering 2 membership options. We believe that's the next step. Happy to answer your questions. Look forward to see you on the next step. There you go. Email 2. See, you may or may not want to do a last chance. If it's an ongoing membership, then it's probably going to be something that's just going to be open as people are joining it, but that's up to you if you wanted to open up membership at certain times, continue growing. Again, it's your decision to how you want to be positioning this in that sort of front. And again, this is getting us that 80% of the way there, and then we can refine and fine tune it before you finally send it out. So now the second email series is for segment 2, prospective members who haven't completed the first cohort. Results from our first cohort and how you can join the EMS membership. Results are in, unlock business growth. And so here you probably even add some more story. Hey, this is one thing I saw. This is the outcome they did. They made their course in this many days. They sold that course for this many dollars. Whatever you think is going to be most relevant. But based on the success, we realize the importance of ongoing support. I like how it is highlighting these words too, because they're like key value propositions that you want to make sure people's eyes are referencing to in the emails. Offering 2 membership levels. We'll see how it goes. You missed the first cohort, but you can still join the EMS membership. What's included? If you're serious about doing this, schedule a call with me. Let's chat about this. Also, these emails are designed right here. To just cap it off, I might say, all right, let's wrap this up by putting together 3 different short surveys that would ask people if they'd want to join, what they'd want to learn most, and what they'd feel most comfortable paying for a membership like this. You're just testing this out. And we just spent an hour kind of putting together this initial draft for repositioning the conversation, opening up that conversation for the membership, and putting some surveys together, which you could use to segment your list a little bit more and people that are coming in on that front. And love your feedback, right? These could open up one of the other emails too. So you could send one of these out, get some response, and then follow up with those that do fill it out and say, hey, this is what's going on. I like this. It's like how to use these surveys. Gauging interest, helps tailor your content, directly ask them. And we could keep going. But at the end of the day, what we said at the beginning here was we're going to do 2 things. We're going to figure out, one, how to have AI help us with like brainstorming and creating this different offer and seeing how it was helping us refine it. We used the MarketSauce Mentalist to do it. And we're doing that in a way that's letting us take these ideas that we have and turn them into some action that we can make an impact with. And so from here, balls in your court, Kelly, or you or your team to take the contents from here, right? Prep the rest of the emails, engage with your audience. And then based on the feedback, start enrolling people into that next segment of your core cohort, which could start happening very soon. And so I just shared with you the ChatGPT link. So you've got access to all those contents. And for those that are interested in leveraging the MarketSauce method for doing what you did today here inside of this workshop, there should be a link to go and get access to our free MarketSauce Mentalist GPT that you can use inside of ChatGPT like you saw us do here today. But also check out genaiuniversity.com for our membership and our ongoing support that we use to provide entrepreneurs like you learn how to leverage AI to grow and scale your business. Kelly, any key takeaways from your end before we wrap up today's call?
I think the biggest takeaway is just to recognize the speed and the depth that we were able to get with a concept, an idea that I brought at the beginning of the call, something that I was playing with, something that I was just thinking about, to be able to come away with not only some creative content, but also to think through and have the help of AI to look at the different facets of everything from what are the deliverables, what is the component of what potential cohorts could look like, all the way down to the various types of membership pricing, pros and cons of each. I got clarity with the help of AI around what ideally what a client may not look like, was able to really eliminate some of those pricing features that from the beginning, to be honest, I was thinking about a monthly component, and then be able to fully walk away with something I can literally put out there today to start seeing if this is a viable idea that my community would want. I think without AI, without amazing tools like the MarketSauce Mentalist, this would have been something that potentially we think about for days, for weeks, for months before we even do anything about it. And I just love that you were able to demonstrate the power of the MarketSauce Mentalist and just the type of insight that it can give us in literally under an hour. So that is just so powerful. And it just makes things so much more possible when it comes to what we can do inside of our businesses.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to hearing the results from your audience. And if this turns into some more membership sales for you, then we'll be sure to give people updates in future episodes. But this was really the first kickoff to our MarketSauce Method Workshop, which we're going to be hosting on a regular basis, posting videos on our YouTube channel, and sourcing questions from members of our community that we're going to be using to tackle problems that coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and business owners are all facing in the world of business, and how we could leverage AI to turn our ideas into action and impact. So thank you so much, Kelly, and everyone here for tuning in with us today. I'm Darby from Gen AI University, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers, y'all.
Take care.